Hello, I'm back with shrink plastic. So I was looking online just randomly out of curiosity, and apparently you can use alcohol markers with shrink plastic, and you can also use chalk markers with shrink plastic. I have both of those, so I figured I'd give it a try. I decided to start by doing a test of both the alcohol markers and the chalk markers by using Wishsire's template. The alcohol markers, you can't layer them. When you try to put a new color down or even the same color down in order to try and smooth it out or darken it, it just picks the first layer right back up. So it does end up becoming very splotchy once you cook it, for lack of a better word, bake it. And the colors do also darken a considerable amount. Not like horribly, but they're definitely like darker. Also, for some reason, the one with the alcohol marker ended up becoming long. Like it looked like someone like stretched him out like a piece of taffy. The chalk markers did a bit better. Their colors stayed exactly the same. The only thing with them is, more so than paint even, you do have to be very careful with layering them because they do get a bit chunky and rough much quicker, and they do also pick up dirt much easier. So like if you've got white like I have on him, be very careful of putting your fingers on it before you put any kind of sealant over it. But other than that, I found that they do both work generally well. The Copics are probably best used for like special effects, which I do make use of later on with one of my other ones that I made. I started with the fairies since it was one that I had technically done before, so I had a general idea of what I was doing, but I was using the chalk markers rather than the paint markers, so it did go down a little bit differently. I also tried a slightly different way of doing them this time. I'm not sure which one I like better. I do think in the end I kind of like the chalk one better, but I think that's just because of how I did it, not necessarily because of the chalk itself. But yeah, I'm really happy with the fairy one, and I don't have too much else to say on that one. I started on Ami next. I decided I wanted to try my inks as well because I did read that you could use those and they generally worked, so I wanted to just sort of make a comparison between the chalk and the ink since I had already also done paint as well. It was a little bit difficult to do them just because I had to go over it a bit with the white with the inks. I think I had to do it like 2 or 3 times with the inks just so that it wasn't splotchy and see-through. One of the things you'll notice here in a little bit is I did actually start jumping around a bit from piece to piece, mostly because I was impatient and didn't want to sit and do nothing while waiting for things to dry before moving on to the next color. I did try to edit it together as best as I could so it's, you know, only focused on one piece at a time, but like you'll be able to see that I was working on other stuff too. But yeah, I'm really happy with how both of them worked, both the ink and the chalk. The only sad thing is the ink one did end up curling in a way that I couldn't fix, so sad. The next one that I started working on when I was waiting for the first layer of Ami to finish was the one-piece hats that I had made a template for, Luffy, Ace, Asabo, and Law's hat. I really love how this one came out. I managed to get some cool blending on it. The only thing was when I went to bake it, there was a little bit of a tragedy and it ended up getting a little messed up, but once I put the layer of resin over top to seal it all in, you can't tell too much, so it's okay. But I really like how this one came out. It's probably one of my favorites. Next is good old Sonic the Hedgehog. This is probably the best Sonic I've ever drawn in my entire life. Whether that's a good thing or a sad thing, I'm not sure, but it's a thing. Pretty happy with how he came out. I was a little worried because I was trying to blend, so I was layering it up a good bit, so I was afraid it was going to flake off and get furry, essentially. That's how Mariah Elizabeth explains it. But he came out pretty good. He didn't have too many issues until I tried to seal him, but I'll explain that later. Next was the Tiny Totoro with some soot sprites. This one was pretty cute. I really liked how it came out. It did get a little messed up. The colors ended up smearing a bit, but I didn't mind because soot sprites get dust everywhere, so why not? And this was actually the first one that someone asked me to make them one for, so that was really cool. I also had someone ask me to make them an Ami one, and I also just had someone ask me for an Itachi. Next up is good old Bill's Cipher. So I used this one yellow first and it was way too fluorescent, so I tried to fix it by mixing these other yellows in, and I highly regret it because poor Bill became very, very furry and it was a sad day. I have since managed to fix him, but yes, he got a bit furry there for a little bit. With him, I did use the alcohol markers in order to make the blue flame around him to give that cool see-through effect, and I really like how it came out. This one is Gigi from Kiki's Delivery Service. Kiki's Delivery Service is where my friend got my nickname from, Kiki. So it's Gigi and his little black kitten with a broom just chilling and I guess Gigi maybe woke up from a nap and that's why he looks annoyed, but you know, who can tell? He generally kind of has an annoyed face at points, so. But I was really happy with this one. Sadly, it was another one that kind of got messed up. I haven't quite gotten around to fixing it yet, but it is a pretty easy fix. It just kind of got a little smudged. Alright, so this is my haul for the day. Gigi needs a little bit of a touch-up. I didn't notice until I went to put the seal on him, but it got a little messed up over here. It's probably from the time when it did end up curling, I'm assuming, because it's a little messed up there too, so it probably curled and like, yeah. Bill needs fixed up. This one did work well, but except for the fold. So, you know, not much I can do about the fold. And yeah, so this one's got a pin, and this one's got a pin, and Sonic's got a pin, and a twin. Yeah, so I put the resin on, and it kind of leaked off, so I was like, you know, I hardened it, and I went to pull it off, and I just pulled Sonic's whole face off. Luckily, there was still a face underneath. I did give this one a keychain and a pin, just because I'm indecisive. So, yes. Yeah, I had a lot of fun doing all these, even with the sadness of those three there, and the randomness of that. And I hope you enjoyed this as well. I did use the chalk markers for all of these, except for that one, obviously, and I used the alcohol markers for the flame for him. But yeah, I learned. Hope you had fun with me, and maybe go check out the first Shrinky Dink video I did. It's still so fun to say Shrinky Dink. And maybe I'll see you around on my arty journey. Till then, bye.